Chessable English Championships and the Chessable English Women's Championships, which are being held at the moment in Kenilworth, and very exciting as the competition's hot up. And we've got some big games actually this afternoon. So this is Woman FIDE Master Shohreh Bayat, who I'm sure you all know already, but lovely to have you on the program. And
thank you very much, Natasha, and hello everyone. It's an honor for me to be here and together with Natasha commenting on these exciting games.
Yeah, so let's get some games up. So I thought we could start, Shohreh, with Keith Arkle and Marcus Harvey, which should be a very interesting game. We've done lots of commentary on Keith Arkle in the past, and he plays in a sort of certain style. But I've also seen Marcus describe his own play as a bit like Keith Arkle's. So it should be a battle of, he doesn't mind playing long games and going for an end game and that sort of thing. So it should be, I expect it goes to an end game. And as you can see here, it's gone to like rooks and bishops for each side. It looks like equal pawns.
Keith is master of rook ending. So that's interesting that Marcus went to this endgame, but I think he went to this endgame because to me white looks a bit, because rook is more active and the pawn structure for white is better because we have like more pawn islands for black.
Hi, Raylin. Hello. You're going to have to come on the show sometime, Raylin. Yeah. I mean, it looks quite nice for white, doesn't it? Rook more active.
I think so. I think white is better in this position because c pawn is big. So I can think of rook c7 because now maybe, I don't know, black maybe has to play bishop d8 because he has to prevent rook c7. Or maybe after rook c7, okay, that's very difficult for black, I think.
Yeah, it makes sense, doesn't it? And so, I do think so. White's better. And do you think it's enough to win?
I think it is, because also white's king can easily come to the game and reach to the c5. Yeah, so
here we go. Everything's going in that direction. Everything's going northwest. The king and the bishop. Yes.
So I think white shouldn't exchange rooks because that's easier for white to win with rooks on the game.
Yeah. And I imagine Keith won't. Keith doesn't like exchanging rooks, but maybe in this position he would. Let's just very quickly whiz through the game, an English opening. So quite a quiet type of opening, and that's how the pawn structure came about. So Marcus just exchanged on c6. There goes that isolated c pawn.
Yes, and white is playing e4, so white has a good attack on the king side.
Yeah.
So it's much easier for white to develop pieces in this position. I mean, to attack on the king side. So queen was on b5. I think when queen was there, it was not good to exchange because then c pawn for black would come to b5, and then it would improve black's pawn structure. But now it's different. In this position, I think exchange is good for white. And that's why probably Harvey went to the rook ending against Keith.
Yeah, I mean, Marcus knows all about how Keith plays. And so he knows what he's getting into. Let's see, we will see how it all develops. Okay, so let's see the next game. And so this is Adam Ashton against Richard Pert. I think they're both international masters. And so this one was a Caro-Kann exchange.
Okay,
We've seen a lot where they're exchanging today. This morning there was also some people playing
I
exchange.
also play exchange variation.
Do you, Shohreh? Do you? And then how do
Yeah.
you follow it up? Is it like this? Or with a bishop
I
d3, some people do?
I play with bishop d3. I
Yeah.
think it's an easy position for white. The exchange variation is normally easy to develop your pieces, and then you get center with your rook. There are some lines that black bishops goes to f5. That those lines are quite annoying.
Yeah.
Bishop
b5 check. Okay, so the black bishop can't yet develop. Yeah, it's sort of comfortable, isn't it, for white? E5. Yeah. So Richard's got e5 in. c3. Oh, have you seen what's coming next? I just looked ahead.
Yes.
Takes f2. So
yeah,
to take
and then there is the fork.
Follow up with the fork on e4.
Yeah, that's a good plan.
Takes. Although white just does get a, like the king's more exposed, but white does get a pawn out of it. So
yeah, maybe that wasn't quite a good plan. So
yeah, well, black gets lots of compensation with active pieces, because I guess this knight will come in, and then the bishop might come out to kind of here where you were saying before, or over to there, and so black gets good development. Yeah,
that's true. But the pawn is a pawn, and
that
it's
is
not
true.
and it's not difficult for white to develop pieces, I guess, because already white has the center, and also it's easy to develop bishop and knight.
Yeah,
so I prefer white's position. But
you'd take white here. Yeah. Okay, so b5. Okay, so actually Richard's going to put his bishop on b7, I would think. Might do two, bishop b7, take rook back, and b4.
Yeah, trying to create a weakness on c3 perhaps, then putting rook on c8 and attacking on the c file.
Yeah, it's an interesting way of playing it. I thought black was going to launch in with all his pieces, but he's actually launching with the pawns first of all, and just going to go for weaknesses on the queen side.
I think this is a typical plan in cosspot structures. So that's why black chose to play like this.
Yeah, like a minority attack type of plan.
Yes.
Okay, so that's where they're up to now. This will be another interesting game. Let's see the next one, which is Matthew Wadsworth against Oscar Hackner.
Okay.
So, right, this is looking nice, isn't it? This long diagonal is looking quite nice. But let's see how we got here. So this is another English. I know why, Shohreh. I know why they're all playing the English, because it's the English Championships.
Exactly.
The English every single game. Yeah.
We are patriots.
Exactly. Yeah. Bishop to d5, f3, g6, b3. So quite a quiet sort of double fianchetto system from Matthew.
Yes, so that's interesting.
Yeah. And so I wonder, white could play it with d3 or with d4. I guess there are different ways of playing this type of position.
Okay, I think d4 is better, because d3 at the same time with b3 doesn't quite look right to me.
Well, he did actually play d3.
Okay, maybe. Okay, he's much better player than me, so probably he knows what he's doing.
Yeah, no, but d4 is definitely is. I've definitely seen d4 and do sort of Catalan type things, and then you just do kind of knight c3 or knight d2, queen c2, or maybe e4, and develop that way.
Yeah, but d3 also is preventing knight e4.
Yes, preventing knight e4, and then also if that bishop comes to like f5 or something, it's not going to be hitting on anything. It's just the pawn in the way. So d3, so rook e8, queen c2, knight a6, bishop c3. So this is because we saw at the end that the queen was going to go to b2 as well. b5. So black's trying to get some space on the queen side. Takes, takes. Queen b2. There we go. So controlling that diagonal.
Yes.
b4. I suppose also white's trying to just make sure black never manages to get this e5 in. So
Yes,
kind of
I want.
lining all those pieces to stop it.
So if the only move that knight can play is to h5
Yeah.
to exchange the bishops.
Hi, Waterford Wizard. Thank you for subscribing. Zoe, I don't think she is taking part in this. And do you know, Shohreh, if I mean, it could be she's just, is she working or studying? I've actually lost track of whether she's now started work or whether she's still studying at the moment. I think she might be still studying and have exams.
Zoe, you mean? Zoe, yes, Zoe
Zoe
is.
Barney, yeah.
Yeah, she's studying as far as I know, yeah.
Yeah. So I guess it's kind of into the, the serious part of studies, because I think she's in her final year, isn't she? So she must be sort of gearing up for, because finals must be, actually she must have exams very soon, because I think finals tend to be around sort of May, June time. So she's probably got head in her books and learning all sorts. And then she'll be back, I think, then she'll have a summer full of chess and
yeah, she had planning to go to some other events that was clashing this event as well. I think that's another problem. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, she's playing a lot of chess at the moment, isn't she?
Yeah, she's very active and very bright player. So
Yeah.
I think she's going to increase her rating soon.
Yeah, for sure. Rook c1, knight b5. Okay. Challenging that bishop on e5.
Yeah, I think that's much better, because knight h5 is just putting the knight on the corner on the side of the board. It doesn't look very attractive move. But if black manages to exchange the bishop on d4, then the problem in this diagonal will be solved kind of for black.
Yeah.
And then e5 maybe then can be possible after knight d7 or queen d6.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Okay. So, yeah, so Oscar Hackner could do knight h5 and swap. Although I suppose white's happy to swap as well, as long as e5 doesn't come in. Just take on g7, knight takes. I suppose you could, I don't know whether would you put your knight in, do you think, on e5 maybe? Or even...
But I wanted to, if I were white, I would probably wanted to keep my bishop, actually, because in this diagonal white is very strong. So I don't want to exchange. I think that's why white also kept the
Yeah,
bishop.
he certainly doesn't want to exchange it for a knight, I'm sure. The only thing he would think about exchanging that bishop for would be that other bishop. Or a queen, I suppose, but that's not probably going to be offered. Queen b6.
Yeah, it's not easy now to move that bishop from e5.
Yeah, because you can't do things like knight g4 or knight g7 just because the bishop on g7 is on prise. Oh, gosh, that's an interesting move. Look, black has played bishop h6. So nice. I guess what he's trying to do is be able to move that knight.
I think it's clear that black has to play on c line, because there is a nice square c3 there. Yes. Also, the rooks can, both rooks can go to the c line. That's the plan that I can see for black.
Yeah.
If possible.
Yeah. So Oscar wants this rook to move out the way, off the c line. But I imagine.
So I think white,
just keep it there. Keep it there. So he's gone actually rook c2 and rook ac8. And then I hadn't predicted this move by white. White actually plays the move a4. So challenging that knight on b5.
And because if knight moves now, it's difficult to put it on c3 later as well.
That's true, yeah, because it can't go to c3 yet. There's just not enough pieces on it. And so once it's moved out the way, you just can't get back to there. So that's a nice, it's sort of defensive move in a way, that a4, to stop the
We
knight.
say that the best defense is attack, isn't it?
Yes, true. That is true.
Yeah, so it's the way to play more active, I think. I like a4.
Yeah. Okay, so we'll see how this one develops. 60,000 word essay, Waterford Wizard. That is an awfully long essay. I thought she was doing I don't know, I thought she was doing some kind of technical subject, but it sounds like she's doing an essay subject. Okay, David Hayden against Peter Robeson. So we've got, now what do you think? Surely this is quite drawish, because I mean, it's like symmetrical pawns. Got a big diamond of pawns here, haven't we? Look at this.
Yeah, I think it is, draw is a very possible outcome from this game.
I mean, black's queen's quite well placed, isn't it?
But they can't rise. They can't rise for some.
Yeah. Oh, no, that's not what that was me.
That's definitely
that's not what he's playing. Okay, so this one to me, it looks pretty level.
Yeah, I think so. Okay, black's queen is a bit more active, but really, I can't see any plan to win with that. Yeah.
No. Okay. Right now, a battle of two junior players. So we've got Jonah Willow against Shreyas Royal.
I look here that bishop on h3 is attacking to e6 pawn. The pawn is pinned, and also queen and rook for black is in the same line. So white is also playing in this diagonal and also in the c line as well. I think white is pretty active.
Yeah, and white could bring a knight to get more pressure onto that pawn. The knight could maybe come into here or come into there.
Exactly. Yeah.
I'm doing lots of colours today.
That's very helpful.
It's rather too. I'm just trying to get rid of them now. There we go. Yeah. Do you want to see how this went? So this was so it was a knight f3 opening.
Okay.
g3. So this is almost going back into an English now, Shohreh. They're all the same.
All games we must have.
This is very similar to Matthew Wadsworth's one. The black's done something different.
Maybe we have a condition for this tournament that everybody have to play c5.
Yeah. A special bonus if you play enough English openings. Ooh, that's an interesting move, isn't it? b4, and you can't come into d3 because the knight's there. But the knight could think about coming to e4, maybe, but then you could kick it away with d3. And there's not an obvious square for the knight to drop back to after that. So so this knight's going to actually have to retreat already, I think.
To e6 or d7, perhaps, or only e6.
E6 he went.
So that's that's how I think.
That's how the e6 pawn got there. So he took back with the pawn. It's an interesting decision. What would you do? Take back with the rook or the pawn? I suppose the pawn cements the centre more, and black would like to try and get in e5 maybe. And the rook.
But after capturing with pawn, it's not easy to make e5 because knight on f3 and bishop on b2 both are controlling e5 square.
Yeah,
so
white could can occupy that square straight away.
Exactly.
Which is what he did, actually. So Jonah put his bishop in on e5. And Jonah's already, I think, looking at these diagonals. So this kind of diagonal against the king. And then as we saw in a bit, he's going to go for this diagonal as well.
Yes, just to active all the pieces, I think, because, white went bishop on h3, activate that bishop, rook is in a nice position, queen is in a right square. So to activate all pieces,
Queen, so Shreyas is ganging up on the b4 pawn. Okay, and Jonah just exchanges. Okay, so now white cannot now occupy e5, but Black's not really threatening, I think, to push e5 so much because that will, well, at least it'll weaken the diagonal to the king.
Yes.
Okay. But actually, Jonah goes back to b2, which actually surprises me a bit.
Maybe he's planning to go queen d4.
Maybe, yeah, with that weak pawn on b6.
Yes, but yeah, probably.
Queen d7, and now bishop h3, and that's where we got to.
I think white position is better here. And it's not straight winning, but gradually white can improve their position more and more and try to
It's
win.
a bit of pressure, isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay. And let's see. The next one, Borna against Keith Parker. And again, we've seen white fighting for the e5 square. Okay, so
Yes.
another knight f3 and b3.
I'm sure c5 is going to come.
Yeah, you're right. You're absolutely right, Shohreh. Here it is. c4 again. Knight bd7. There are actually this morning there were quite a lot of games with e4, so I think it's the afternoon is c4. Maybe once they've had one game in the day there.
Indeed.
For the English. b3. Okay, yeah.
That's I think we saw some part of this game, right?
It's actually a different game, but it's very similar to one we already saw.
Okay. That's very similar, yeah. Okay.
Knight c5, queen c2, and a4. Okay. So black would, I think, push all the way to a3 given the chance.
Yeah, I think black's plan is playing a3. So push the bishop back from that diagonal, forcing bishop to go to c1 probably.
Yeah.
And then rook doesn't have a nice position on a1.
No. So what's Borna going to do? d4 and a3 comes in. Yeah. Okay, here.
And then
d4.
Yeah. So I like black's knights.
Yeah.
But then at some point, maybe after, okay, maybe knight on f3 has to move and f3, e4.
Yeah.
Or some moves that we can consider.
And maybe Borna's going to think that he can round up this pawn on a3 somehow as well, because it is quite far advanced. So he's gone c5.
Yeah, so c5.
Yeah. And knight here. So he's wants to come into here.
So it has to go b5 now.
Exactly right. b5, cb6, and bishop a6. Knight e5. So that pawn on c6 is attacked twice.
Yes. Yeah, but now we can go bishop b5 attacking to the knight, and also then you can defend the pawn on c6, and you have the plan to capture knight later to get b6 pawn as well.
Yeah.
But I
He's
think before
he's done it, and now Borna plays b7, just trying to go for queen.
Yeah, I missed that b7. But what's going to happen after b7?
He's gone rook a6, and so now this c pawn is well defended. So now, both sides have got quite far advanced pawns, and so you would expect black to be able to pick up that pawn on b7. And the sort of question is, can white do some damage or like try and get the pawn on c6 in the meantime?
Yes, but probably not in a hurry to capture that.
Yeah,
because
because of
first
open
you
lines
need.
against the queen. You've got to get the pieces out first, right?
Yes.
So bishop f4, bishop d6, and f3. This is the plan you were talking about. So forcing this knight away. And bishop takes a4, takes, and knight into c3.
That's very interesting.
Yeah. So we've got 3 pawns on the A file, and then this advanced pawn on B7. Crazy pawn structure.
Yeah.
And so this knight on C3. So we could gang up on it, right? We could do like rook C1.
Yes, rook C1, and then because you are capturing knight, then I have to capture A4 probably.
Yeah. Yeah,
But
rook
then you
C1
can
was
capture
played. Yeah.
C6.
Okay. Yeah.
So I cannot capture A4. Maybe bishop B4. But that's also very tricky because then, no, I can't play bishop B4 because the pawn on, this diagonal and the pawn is going to B8. No, that's not right probably. Because bishop on F4 is kind of indirectly
Yeah.
looking at,
Covering the queening square, you're right. Yeah, so you probably want to leave this bishop there. So you could try that, but then this one's
capture C6.
Captured there.
And then you are attacking to the queen and bishop on D6 at the same time.
That looks tricky.
Yes.
For black. Yeah. Yeah. What about if so this knight's no, we have to do something about the knight.
Yeah.
Oh, I'll tell you what, the game's over. It's saying 1. Okay, so at this point black resigned. Yeah, okay. Black's resigned actually.
Okay, because there's no move actually.
Yeah. Wow. Tricky game.
The pawn on B7.
Yeah, pawn on B7 just causing you'd think you could round it up and kind of there were more moves actually. There were more moves. So we got to rook C1. So they did go knight A4, knight C6. This is what we're saying. Queen C7, bishop D6 takes, and then queen. And that was it.
Then
I suppose then we've also got queen C8.
Yes, back rank mate.
Back rank mate. Oh dear. Yeah. Tricky. Okay. Next game
That's a beautiful game by Borna, I think.
Yeah, actually, it's really nice. It was a really nice game. Yeah.
Yeah.
Now here we see Mark Hebden in his element, kingside attack, all the pawns coming forward. Let's see how he's done this. So this is not, I repeat, not an English opening. This is E4, E5.
Finally.
6 bishop C4. Aha, 2 knights. Very good. Yeah. And white plays a kind of quieter line, D3.
Okay.
So we saw a game earlier with knight G5 and this kind of opening. Bishop E7, castles, D6, A4. So very common opening moves. Bishop E6. And Hebs, he likes getting these pawns in the center, I think.
Then probably C3 and queen if I'm not sure, but probably queen B3 is the move that I consider with the attacking to E6 and B7 at the same time.
Yeah. So what Hebs actually played queen E8 and looking to bring his queen out to the king side. And
that's an interesting move.
Yes. So actually, but your move is possible, right? Queen.
I'm not sure now I want to play that because if queen comes to the king side and then the F file is open as well, and the knight comes to G4, and then you are planning to capture knight F3 if my queen won't be on D1 to defend that.
It's true. And if the white queen goes and takes that b7 pawn, for example, it's kind of really out of the way, isn't it, to defend?
It is. Yes. So I want my queen to be there to protect my castle. So.
Yes. Okay. And Shabir, he played b4. Queen g6.
Also, knight d2 and then knight f1, knight g3 is a common plan in these positions instead of b4. Yeah.
Like that. Yeah.
Yeah, but now, okay, now maybe because the pawn is on e6, that doesn't work really. That's the difference because there's a normally
isn't that. Normally you finish it with that, don't you, at the end?
Yes, you finish it that, but now there's no prospect after knight g3. Yeah.
Mm. Okay, bishop b3 and knight h5, and Hebs is trying to get this knight into here.
Yes.
Knight bd2, knight f4.
I prefer black's position, to be honest.
Yeah, I like it.
Yeah.
Rook takes. And doubling up.
Queen b3.
I don't know if you saw any of Hebs's game this morning. He had quite a lucky escape. He was playing a junior player who got a really good position against him. Let's see if I can get the name, which player it was.
No, I didn't see that game. So.
Yeah, but it was in the end. It ended in a draw. I think they repeated moves, but actually Hebs was worse even in that final position.
It's always good to have a lucky escape.
Yeah. He can fill his tournaments lucky, can't he? Yeah. Start off with a lucky
exactly.
escape.
Yeah, it feels so good.
Yeah. I mean, it's much better if you're going to draw a game. It's much better to have a lucky, like especially in round one. It's much better to have a lucky escape and get a draw than to just have some boring game and you can't make any progress. That's what I think anyway.
I agree.
Rook f1. Okay, and so Hebs is bringing another piece in, bishop g5. He doesn't mind swapping that off, it looks like. So because white could just take on g5, which he does, in fact. Takes, and rook here. I mean, actually, how dangerous is this attack?
I think it is defendable.
Yeah.
Because there are not enough knights and bishops there.
No.
Attack.
So I suppose he'd want to get this knight in as well. So maybe sort of round this way. And I don't know if we're moving our g pawn or whatever, but maybe bring this in like that. Or
yeah, that's possible. I'm thinking of g5 as well.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Get this one in first. That's what he does, actually. Yeah, so it went rook f3 and then g5.
Oh, he played that.
Yeah, he did. He's really going for it this game. He's had enough of draws. Knight g6.
Okay, now it's more interesting because also you are playing knight h4 as well. Or
Come
g4.
on, Keith, says Molokai. We're going to check Keith's game in a minute. Rook e3, rook h4. We did see Keith's game already. Keith against Marcus, wasn't it?
Marcus, yeah.
Marcus Harvey,
okay.
Yeah. Okay. And
yeah, that was actually a nice end game. We should check what happened to that end game.
We'll check. Yes, let's check that after this.
Yeah.
Knight f4, queen f1, and queen h6. He's really going for it. He's going all out.
Yeah.
And I think he's gonna do it as well. g4 now.
Okay.
So now what about this fork on g3? That can't be much, can it? Because you just take on h3. So if white goes g3, you just go rook takes, and then
but you take you can't capture with knight, and that's the check, right? After G3,
Yeah.
you capture
You
it.
can.
Yeah.
Yes. So there's no. Okay. So G4 is a bit of a problem then, because you don't want to take, obviously, because Rook H1 mate. So Black's just threatening simply.
No, I
So
think
take,
Black
no,
attack.
takes. You could no, you can't recapture. He can't recapture. You can't. So takes. I don't know. I think it's tricky.
What about King H2?
King H2. Yeah.
Okay, you capture on H3, pawn captures, knight captures. Oh, knight captures, rook capture. Okay, no. So I think he has to play King H2.
Yes, maybe you can. I was looking at. I mean, he doesn't need to sack, does he? I was looking at sacking on G2 and then takes. But you
What
don't really
happens if, okay, King H2, I capture H3, pawn captures, knight captures, rook captures, then, no.
Oh, I tell
Okay.
you what, Shohreh, they've played a couple more moves, and it has gone.
Oh,
It's
okay.
gone King H2
Okay.
and Knight G2. He's done it. He's done
Nice.
the sack. So okay, so what do we think of this then? So
If queen captures, what
oh,
happens
Molokai,
then?
you woke up for this. Nice.
Rook captures H3.
Yeah. So okay, so let's try it. So
I don't know.
there. So now, but we've got a choice, right? Because we can capture with the rook, or we could capture with the pawn.
Or we
Because
can
that might
play
be all
rook
right.
takes
Oh, and
H2.
there's also
Rook takes F2 as well.
rook takes H3. Rook takes
F2.
F2.
I'm not sure if it works. I'm just suggesting to add it to our candidates move.
There's actually loads, and Queen F4 as well. I mean, there's a
Yes.
lot of possibilities. All right.
Oh,
So
you can just capture H3 simply. And then if rook captures, then you just exchange and you take the knight on D2.
oh yes, that
Yeah.
one's on. There's lots of things on, aren't there? So just to take with the rook. No,
Yeah.
take with the
pawn also is possible. With rook, yeah.
Or maybe with the pawn. Yeah.
No, with the rook you capture. Now rook has to capture it, right?
Yes, and then we take.
No.
Okay, and then the queen cannot defend this knight.
Okay, but what if instead of rook H3, white would play King G1?
So here,
Yeah, you captured with rook and then
King G1.
yes.
Yes. Well, we could capture this one.
Yeah,
And
F2,
if you
capture
take,
this,
and then we could take in here.
and then
And then
King H1 has to go, and then you play rook F2, right?
rook F2, and that's got to be scary.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Knight F1.
Oh, knight F1. No, you can't do that here.
Queen H3, H6, sorry, Queen H6, yeah.
So here, what? King H1, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I said, yeah, then Queen, rook F2,
Rook F2. Knight
Knight
F1.
Queen
Nah,
H6.
yeah, Queen H6. White is not surviving this thing. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, what happens if we capture with pawn instead of rook? Is it also a possibility?
So here, so Queen G2. So wait a minute, let's just see whether I've just got to check if I've got the live. So it went Knight G2. Actually, I think he's still thinking about it. So if pawn takes instead here, yeah?
Yeah, but it looks quite right to capture it with rook. I just wanted to
Yeah,
see
and
what
all the
happens.
lines were looking good.
Yeah. No, we
Yeah.
are knight down, so we have to get
That's true. We
compensation
have to
here.
prove something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, I think the rook takes H3 is good enough.
Yeah, rook takes. And if rook takes, we've looked at that, and that's good. And if king takes, that was good for black as well.
Yeah.
So this looks pretty convincing, right? because there's not many other choices.
Exactly. I think we have to go for this variation.
Yeah. Mm.
Okay, let's have
Okay.
a look at Keith's games.
Let's check
End
keys. Yeah.
game. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So
What
now,
happened?
Shohreh,
Oh, they exchanged rook.
it's what we were thinking, getting the king out and whatever, but they have changed rooks, which Keith doesn't normally like doing. So where did we get up to? We were
But he had to do that because it was
yeah.
difficult.
Yeah. So bishop, so rook d8.
Yeah.
So we did it actually straight
Okay.
away.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we missed that immediately.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Rook
Yeah.
takes
So
eight.
this is very forced exchange. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's basically the only plan that he had to play.
King f1, king f8. So they're getting their kings out. King d3, king d7, king c4, bishop b6. And
What
okay.
happens if white plays king b3 with the idea of king a4 now?
Okay. That will
Okay. He's playing. Sorry,
maybe
he's
you
capturing
defend
f2.
f2 first.
Yeah. He's capturing f2. That's the problem. Yeah.
Hmm. Yeah. So what? So Marcus actually offered the exchange of bishops here. So I guess if black does,
Then probably white wins because the
well, it's winning
king
this
is
king. It's a good king and pawn ending, isn't it? Because not only is the c pawn isolated, but actually white can get the king right onto c5, and
and it's just if he manages to get some tempo to go king b3, then
yeah,
b6. Sorry, to go
yeah,
king b6, then white can easily win.
yeah. So Keith didn't. I'm not surprised. Keith didn't swap. Keith brought
Yeah.
the bishop back. But this still looks good for white, right?
It's good, but it's not easy to win. So we need to
No.
think what is the plan now.
Yeah. It's good, but is it winning? Yeah. Because, well, I suppose
One plan is to put pawns on the white squares.
I was just wondering, like, yes, should we, if we're white, should we play like a4, b3 sort of thing, and try and make black always worried about that a pawn? Or you were talking earlier about a plan like this, right?
Yes, that's tricky thing that if we play a4 and b3, then we cannot go king
Yes.
a4.
So
But
maybe the king
also,
plan, because we could do it right away, right? We could just go king b3 now.
then black plays king c7.
King c7. Should we try it? Let's try it. King b3, king c7, king there, king b7, and then we can go here, but king a6 defends.
Yes, now it's kind of defended, but we can play bishop c3 at the beginning so that black cannot play king c7.
Okay, so here we could do a
Yeah.
bishop c3 straight away. I mean, that is repeating though.
Then black cannot play king c7 because we capture on a5.
Yes.
So the plan is again king b3, king a4.
Yeah, and if black tries to go that way, we just go into c5 and we're happy.
Exactly. Yes. I like this bishop c3.
Yeah. All right.
Maybe black plays bishop b6.
Yeah. And then we could repeat again with bishop d4 if we wanted, but we could also try this kind of king b3 plan, or no, move the pawn first. Yeah, move the pawn to f3 or something first so it doesn't get taken.
Yes.
And then carry on with this plan.
Okay, I think they played some moves, right?
I think he's still thinking.
Okay.
All right, let's see who else. Let's see, Samuel Herring and James Jackson. And not another. Surely not. Knight f3.
Another
What
same
Shohreh? It's
opening.
the same. It's all the same. They're all playing the same openings.
Something
Every one
must
of
be
them.
happened there.
b3. And another double fianchetto. a6, bishop b2. b7 check. And it's like a hedgehog, I suppose. Black's playing there.
If I manages to play e4, it would be like a Sicilian structure.
Yes. Yeah, what, like Maroxybine type?
Exactly, yeah.
Okay. Well, queenside pawns have come off. That's where we got to.
I think in this position, white is better because knights. Okay, the pieces are better positions basically, and the a pawn is good.
Yeah. Yeah, I like having that passed a pawn, and the knight on d4 is nice, isn't it?
Yes, and basically the pieces are more active.
Yeah.
So
Oh, well,
white is
I mean,
threatening to play knight c6 as well.
Yeah. No, I mean, this is a nice position for Samuel Herring. He's up against, I think, James Jackson, international master. I think.
Okay, what black can do? What is black's plan here?
You could go. You could do kind of bishop or rook c5. Like, say you did rook c5, you can kind of, or
You
even
can.
into c4 and try and make the a pawn worried.
You can. Then queen e8, bishop f8.
Oh yeah, no, yeah, you don't want to. You maybe want to prepare all this.
Maybe you can go
It's
like
not
rook
late, is it? It's
a8.
not late, so
I like,
yeah.
I like rook a8
Yeah,
because
just
you
rook
are
a8. That's better.
attacking to the pawn.
Safer way of doing the same thing.
How can
Yeah,
white
because
defend
how do
that?
you defend it?
Oh, okay. Maybe white can play knight c6 then, attacking to the
Yes,
queen and bishop
that's
at
true.
the
That's
same
true. It's a
time.
good point.
So maybe rook a8 is soon here.
Yeah, yeah. So maybe you move the bishop first. I mean, you could even just
Or if you are actually capturing a4, we should consider rook c4.
yeah.
Rook c4, queen e8, bishop f8.
I suppose even with rook c4, white could think about going knight c6.
Right. Again, same plan. Yeah, that's true.
But then I suppose all you're doing is swapping off on e7.
We said that a pawn is good, but also it looks like a big point at the same
Yeah,
time because
maybe
it's
it's
not
not as
easy
good as
to
it looks.
defend that. Yeah. If white manages to defend that properly, that's good, but
But if it falls off, then suddenly it's looking good for black.
exactly.
Okay. Now, actually, we haven't looked at the women's event at all, so let's have a look in that one as well. So if let's look here. Okay, and this one's Lanyao against Alagamal, and They're not playing the English. They're doing some kind of
Peak defense.
defense.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay, let's see what Lan Yao does. So she's doing, this is what I play as well, this with bishop e3. But
I
she's
go
maybe,
for bishop g5, but I know bishop e3 looks much better.
I like it. But she's not doing it the way I do it. The way I do it is like just queen d2, bishop h6, and h4, h5, and just a bit. She's doing a more subtle way of doing it. She's going with h3. Knight bd7, bishop e2, c5, e5.
Okay, because if white would castle, then after capture on d4, then it would be like Sicilian defense.
Yeah.
So it's like white preventing that and also attacking to the knight and getting more space.
She's still got the choice, hasn't she, of whether she's going to go castle king side or queen side.
Yes, but after c5, okay, yes, she has the choice, definitely.
Takes knight
but
back.
now I think e6 is also a move that is possible.
Yeah, e6.
But now I think it's not easy,
yeah,
because the bishop is very strong on g7. Then
it's true. It's true.
But we can always keep this e6 in mind to see when it is possible.
Yeah, because black's probably
maybe
not
after castle.
Yeah. Ah, sure. She just
now it's just the
all right.
pawn.
That's the tactic, isn't it? Just take the pawn.
Yes,
and you can't recapture just because of the queen on d8.
Yeah, knight is pinned, so queen c7 is also not possible because we capture on e7.
On e7, yes.
So basically, it's just a free pawn.
It's just a pawn, isn't it?
It is
just a pawn. So knight c7 and bishop a3. So she wants to keep it on this diagonal, and she's kind of cutting out this e6. So maybe she wants to do e6 still one day. b5.
Okay, that's nice.
Yeah. So white can't just take it, I think, because just sort of takes. If knight takes, bishop b5, queen a5 check.
And also, white hasn't castled yet. Also, I think
important to castling's the thing, isn't it? And she did. She castled. Rook b8 and queen d4. Nice central queen stopping the fork. But now, what about knight?
It's also preventing b4.
Yeah.
Because black's plan was b4 to do a fork. Queen d4 is preventing b4.
Yeah, and if black plays like knight b6 to try and attack the queen and then go b4, I suppose white could.
You can capture on d8. No, I think you can capture on d8 and then capture e7 pawn.
If knight this way.
No, you said knight b6, right?
Sorry, I meant knight e6.
Oh, sorry.
Knight e6 to attack the queen.
Can't we capture a7? No, we can't.
Maybe, but then there's this one. Sorry, that one to worry about.
Yeah, b4
so I think maybe you go across that way and try and attack. I suppose it does attack. It does attack e7. So if we had the knight here, queen there,
g5,
then that's on prise. G5.
Yeah,
it's complicated then. So knight takes, and then you've got the b4 coming in at the end.
Yes.
Well, she didn't do that. She went. She went a5.
She went a5 because she's threatening b4 immediately.
Yeah. And then white stopped it.
Yeah, b4. So now.
Knight takes e5.
Yeah, that's nice.
That works, doesn't it?
It works, yeah.
Queen takes d8, takes.
And it captures c3.
d1.
Oh.
Takes. Okay, so This, I'm not sure that white's better, really. I mean, the bishops are nice, but black's bishops are nice as well.
I think, yeah, it depends now. Yeah, I wanted to say F4, A4. A4 looks the right move here. Otherwise, white can manage to make its bishop activate again.
Yeah,
Active
I was
again.
thinking
But
though.
now
But what about? Do you not like this? Just takes. I agree the bishops are active, but then white's got these kind of isolated pawns now.
that's true, but after A4, still the pawn on C2 is weak.
Yeah.
So you can still use that weakness, yeah. Because I want to attack to the B4 pawn as well.
Yeah, so both of these two white needs to be careful of.
Yes.
So bishop c1. Alanyao redeploys the bishop. She wants to come into f4, I suppose. e5.
Yeah,
Bishop
that's a
e3.
prophylactic move.
Yeah. Bishop e6 and a3. f5. Bishop a7. Okay, the rook has to come off the b line, so rook f8.
I don't like rook f8. I would prefer to keep my rook on d8, but what happens after bishop b6? Yeah, you cannot go rook d8 because white goes bishop b6, then rook d7, bishop c6. Or maybe it is possible. Rook d8, bishop b6, rook d7, bishop c6, then rook d6.
Okay, and what's happening here?
If you capture c7, then I capture c6, and then I'm attacking to the bishop.
This is great for black. Then if we get this, yeah. So rook d8, bishop b6 looks right. Rook d7, but maybe you just don't go into bishop c6 yet. You maybe.
Then I can play like bishop d5. No, I can't play bishop d5. Maybe knight d5 then.
Yeah.
Or e4. E4 looks right to me. Yeah. I need to play e4 first. And then my bishop would be
This looks fine, doesn't it, for black? So actually, yeah.
Actually, bishop e2 then attacking to b5. That's not easy. That's not easy.
And actually, in the game, we've got another move because after rook f8 by Alas, then Lanyao put her bishop back to e2. I guess looking at this pawn here. Oh, yeah. Shohreh, you know what she's played? She's now moved the rook back to d8.
But now I think white has some plan because bishop goes to b6. Yeah. And now I'm planning to capture c7, then capture b5. I think then bishop must go to d7. I can't see any other way to defend.
Yeah, so bishop here. So bishop d7 straight away.
Not straight away because it's capturing c7.
Oh, the knight. Yes. So rook.
Maybe rook d2. What happens if we play rook d2? Let's try the active way.
Yes, interesting.
Bishop goes to d3 probably, and then
now,
planning.
Oh, the knight's still on prise, so you could still try e4.
Then bishop d3, bishop e3 is also a move that we should consider because now
this will get exciting. So here,
okay, let's
e3.
No, let's say yeah, that's fine. Yeah, go.
Take here, take knight out.
Couldn't you play just capture on d1 first instead of capturing on d3.
Aha. So bishop e3
You capture the knight on d1 first.
takes. Oh, and get two of them.
Yeah.
And get two. Yes, that's a good idea, isn't it?
Yeah, that looks right to me.
Yeah. Hmm. Interesting.
Okay, but what happens if instead of bishop e3, white captures on c7? That's also another possibility.
So here we go. Yes, take on c7. Take here. Recapture, presumably. Take.
Here, black looks much better, way better.
Black, doesn't it, with the bishops? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so Lan Yao has not played bishop b6 actually, and she has get this on the board. She's actually ganging up. This is probably a good idea, right? She's ganging up on the b5 pawn.
Yes.
Yeah.
So now move to consider is e4, I guess.
Yeah. Opening up an attack on the knight.
Okay, it captures b5. I missed that. Yeah.
Yeah, capture. And that's probably just fine, isn't it? For white.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm not sure because there are loads of things happening here. So if you play e4 captures on b4, knight captures on b5, knight captures, bishop captures, then rook d2.
Rook d2. We could capture on a4, kind of defending.
Sorry, yeah, that's the end. This variation. That's white is winning here. Yeah.
Interesting. All right, let's see one more, and then we will wind up. But let's see. This is going to be an exciting game as well. Nina Pert against Aga. Oh, it's finished.
It's checkmate. Yeah.
It's checkmate.
There's a checkmate on the board.
There's a checkmate on the board. Okay, that makes it clearer. Let's see how they did it. Okay, another. Yeah, they're all the.
I think if white captures on d4, this variation is much better for white because white captures on d4 and then it's like white developed the bishop and castling now. So development of the pieces is much better for white here.
Yeah. And takes because queen h5 checks coming in. Yeah, no, this has got to be nice for white. Yeah. And here it comes. Yeah.
Yeah. I think Aga chose the wrong opening.
Wrong opening. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. And Nina's on form.
Yeah, she played very well.
Yeah. All right. I'm going to look at the next one as well, but we won't go through the game. We'll just have a look. Now, is that going to come onto the board? We might not have a look. There we go. Okay.
Okay, what do we have here? Two rooks on e5.
Two very talented junior players, May Catterby and Elise Dyson. What do you think of this?
I think I prefer white.
Yeah.
Because and I don't know, white can goes rook e7 now, but then black goes rook e8 probably.
Yeah, maybe this rook.
Then you can go queen e2 as well.
Yeah, looks like there's going to be exchanges though, doesn't it?
Yes. So if we exchange, then I'm not sure if white is better.
e2 takes. I suppose white does end up with a rook in there. So, but perhaps black. I mean, black doesn't have to do it exactly this way. I think.
Rook f7 now.
Rook f7.
Yeah.
I think my computer's not letting me do these things now.
So the rook has to move, and then
yeah.
And
then I quite like having the bishops. Actually, I think.
Yes.
All right. Fantastic. Okay, so this was just a quick stream to check in on all the games. Still quite a few matches in progress. Lots of exciting games here. Should we just do one last look at seeing how Keith and I'm just trying to get Marcus has progressed. We might not be able to actually. I think
Yeah, let's try, if possible, to see that what happened to that end game, because that was a quite interesting end game.
Yes. I actually think it might not be possible.
Okay, we know these technical problems.
My computer's done too much streaming today, so technical problems. Okay, well, we were going to end the stream around about now anyway, so let's wind up. And Shohreh, it's been absolutely lovely having you on the show. What are your plans next? Have you got some competitions coming up, either playing or arbitring?
I'm planning to go to Norway Chess. I'm arbiting there at the end of this.
Congratulations on that. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah, I think that's the event that I love most, because you know they have all top players there. Magnus is there, so it's quite exciting.
Lovely. When do you go to there?
I will go there on 28th, and then the tournament will start on 30th. So we have this year a blitz tournament as well, and then a main tournament.
Lovely. Oh, well, enjoy. Good luck and have fun. And everybody, thank you very much for watching the stream. Keep following. Tomorrow morning, we're back on, me and Tom Rendell, to follow round 3 of the English Championships. And thanks everyone very much for watching.
Thank you very much, everyone. And thank you, Natasha.
Thank you.